Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, let's talk about Michael and Willow. Because, well, to be honest, for most of this episode, they were talking, it was just kind of boring, really, to be honest. They pretty much just talked about Wiley, how grateful they were to have him back, and just some other stuff about how she felt guilty that she shouldn't have left him to kind of just go out there and, be at the police station while she was just at home. It was a lot of filler, to be honest. But, and I'm not gonna lie, because I was literally just putting down boring in my notes. Well, they were talking. Then Michael decides to kiss Willow. And then his cock blocking cousin, Valerie, just showed up at the right time, to give him an update. And Michael's there going towards the door, whatever, and he sees Valerie. And I know in the back of his head, like, really? Because that was just. Sure, what is it? They get an update on now, which is pretty much no update because, according to her, Nell is still out there on the loose or whatever. And so Willow goes upstairs to check on Wiley, and then after that talk is done, then she comes downstairs and she looks at Michael because they just kissed. So honestly, to tell you the truth, I think that was probably the most um, interesting that they've gotten so far. So now it's actually getting interesting. I'm not even gonna lie. Up until that point, I kind of just stood there, and even when I looked at this whole situation of them just being, good parents and stuff like that, it just never crossed any of their minds. Like maybe they should be setting like boundaries or whatever. This way, any sort of awkwardness or something that somebody doesn't want to do doesn't just show up. No, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, that was probably the most interesting part. Other than that, it was pretty boring up until that point. Um, yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna see where that goes, and pretty sure at some point Sasha's gonna be pissed, along with Chase. Let's talk about Sonny and Mike. I've said this before, but for anyone that's just coming on for the first time watching my review, this whole Mike story is just it is dragging on way too long. I haven't felt this much like we're still doing this since the whole Michael wasn't sure about like since the whole Michael and the baby thing, revealing that it's his son, because that went on for way too long. But this is dragging out. Anyway, Sonny pretty much talks to Mike. It's just this really sad scene about him giving him permission to go if he wants to go, and then Mike squeezes his hand, and Sonny takes that as a sign. Here's my whole take about this situation. Anytime Mike does something, like Sonny kind of like acts, or he either acts, he asks a question, or something will come up and he's talking about something, and Mike will squeeze his hand or look at him a certain way, and he's pretty much just taking. How do I sit there and say this? It's like he's seeing what he wants to see, as far as him hanging on, taking him off the, not putting him on a feeding tube, all this stuff. He's just seeing what he wants to see, and it's pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty sad. On a I guess positive note, because I've been meaning to say this for a while. Sonny, or the actor that plays him, Maurice Bernard, has a YouTube channel about like mental health and stuff, and it's pretty interesting. So I'll definitely sit there and check it out. It's literally called Maurice no Maurice Bernard. So messed up because that's my name, and somehow I managed to screw that up. But yes. Maurice Bernard has a channel on YouTube. It deals with like mental health and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. It's interesting seeing Maurice not be Sunny, but in some sort of way is kind of Sunny like. Um, just on a side note before I get back to my review, um, I think he's at this point where he's been playing this character so long that he's starting to sound more like Sunny in certain aspects than he, I don't know, realizes it, or maybe he just plays the character so long that that's just Sunny is just really him, except for it's just amped up to 11. Kind of like the whole Susan Lucci thing. But yeah, so that's what's going on with Sunny. Carly pretty much just, stuck to Jack's story as far as, she knocked me out, she got the better of me, and then she disappeared into the woods and whatever. And then Valerie was like, well, did you hurt her? I think at that point, Carly was about to lose it. She was like, hurt her? Are you... I mean, I'm not gonna lie, even I was just like, oh, is she serious? Like, is this chick serious? Like, really? But she stuck to her story, and at first, she just had this look of daze when Valerie was sitting there talking to her, and I was like, please don't screw this up. I mean, and also I was like, you've lied before. Like, with Sunny and stuff like that. Don't act like this is your first rodeo or whatever. So anyway, she lies. Valerie's satisfied, and then she, well, those two walk off. 1 second. And then after, Carly and Jax are alone, Carly is like, I gotta sit there and tell Michael, I gotta tell Willow. And Jax is like, yo, that's like not a good idea, because, you can implicate them in the cover up. We don't want that. And so Carly's like, well, I gotta tell Sunny, that's my husband. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of, just on a side note, I really hate when certain people sit there and say that's my husband, or they try to use like that's my husband as an excuse. I'll give you an example, and this is the part where it'll make sense a little bit. If somebody goes back to someone else and they, I don't know, plays mattress tag or whatever, and then somebody's like, why'd you do that for? And they're like, oh, well, that's my husband. And I'm like, that's not an excuse. But I don't know. It just kind of irked me a little bit when she said that. But I mean, Josh was like, all right, fine, whatever. Whatever. Do your thing, I guess. And so Sunny, Carly goes to visit Sunny at Turning Woods or whatever. And they talk a little bit, and I think at this point they talk about Mike a little bit, about how it's near the end. And then this is when Carly's about to sit there and talk about what, everything that went down. No, actually, to tell you the truth, she lies. Yeah, she lies. What the hell? It took me a second. I was like, no, she lied. Because Sunny was like, well, what happened to Nell? Like, did anything else happen at the fort or whatever? And then Carly was like, no, she got away. Why did she? That makes no sense. She just made this whole big speech with Jax about how she was gonna sit there. I gotta sit there and tell him he's my husband. So Carly, what happened? Nothing. Oh, okay. Alright. Okay. Wow. That was really dumb. Let's talk about Neil and Alexis. Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad for Alexis. So Neil and Alexis are talking, and Alexis is like, yo, listen, let's just go ahead and see where this is gonna go. Really, that's literally what they talk about, Neil's like, let's be friends or whatever, just see where it goes. And Alexa's like, nah, let's just go full speed ahead. I'm like, well, that was fast. Um, so anyway, they both decide that they're gonna just see where it goes. And then they play mattress tag, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a weird scene, a weird kind of kinky scene a little bit, where Alexis is like, I don't know, rubbing on Neil's feet, and I'm like, so something you want to share with the classroom? Like you got a thing for feet? I mean, it's okay if you do, just very kinky of you. So anyway, they, play mattress tag or whatever. And then Alexis wakes up and she has some coffee, whatever, coffee ready for him. And then, she's talking to Neil. And then she starts rubbing on his feet again. And then she realized that his feet is really cold. And, then she goes and check on him, and this dude is just not waking up. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? So they finally decide that they want to, like, go full steam ahead, and then, what, you just kill him off? Like, what the I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like this is a Buffy situation. In the show Buffy, they sit there and write these characters. They would get them together, and everything would finally be good. And then they would find ways to just like mess it up or torture them in some sort of ways. And I'm like, what the hell? Y'all just literally dragged us to this whole will they, won't they, will they, won't they. And this dude's just not waking up. I'm like, are you serious? So anyway, that's pretty much where it ends off at, and I'm just like, wow, okay. I feel like I'm missing a scene, but I don't think I am. So let's finally talk about Valentine and Nina, because I feel like Valentine just. Okay, so let's talk about Valentine and Nina. So they're hanging out. Well, Valentine sees Nina kind of like upset or whatever. He goes to check on her, and they talk a little bit. And then Sam comes in. Oh, Sam. So Sam comes in, and Sam is all like, "Oh, well, you try to out Michael because, he was blackmailing you and." Just pretty much just told another secret about Nina or whatever, as far as like the reason why Sasha didn't press charges or whatever, or the reason why Valentine convinced Nina not to press charges was because, they were gonna out him as being the one that hired Valentine. I mean, one second. They were going to out him as him being the one that hired Sasha to pretend that Nina was, that was Nina's daughter. So it just came right out, and Valentine was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of funny, but it was also like, damn it, Sam. Whose good time did you ruin this time? So anyway, she's going off an entire talking about you fired Michael or whatever, and are you outed Michael, this, that, and the third, and you didn't vote for the hospital, this, just stuff that we already knew about. And, talking all about like, oh, well, I sold my shares, and, you did all this with it. And I'm sitting there thinking, even if you knew that he was going to do this stuff, it was still important to be with Jason. So in the end, you would have really justified it. Especially with whatever her name was that was coming up there. So, this whole high and mighty attitude, it doesn't really fly with, it doesn't fly with me. I'm pretty sure it doesn't fly with a lot of people. Um, so anyway, she leaves, and then, and then Nina and Valentine starts arguing again, and, and then Nina brings up Jax. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. You did not just sit there and bring up Jax. Like, you know how he is. And of course, Valentine pretty much have to get into a pissing contest with Jax, even though he's not even there, about searching for her daughter. There was one part that was just like, dude, seriously? This is when... So weird. This is when Nina's like, we're close to finding my daughter or whatever, about the heart set and stuff, and, we got a lead. And then Valentine was like, well, that's impossible. Dude, it almost sounds like you're mad. Like, are you mad that, that she's getting closer? Oh, no, you're just mad that Jax got her closer. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there. Because I was gonna say something sexist, but I was like, but it was more sexist towards men. I'm like, I'm not playing that game. But anyway, they talk or whatever, and then again they just Valentine just seems like he just always wants to get into a contest with Jax, and I'm getting to a point every time I start watching this, I'm just like, dude, let it go. There are other women out there. This whole I'm super obsessed with Nina thing is getting a little it's getting a little played out. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe you need to throw in another character or something. Anyway, they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then Jax comes in, and that's when Valentine's like, all right, bye. Before we get to that point, I want to kind of point out where Valentine damn near manhandled her, literally. As she was walking away, Valentine was like, wait, hold on, and did the whole, grabbing the woman's arm, and I'm like, really? We really doing this? Every time something like that happens, I just sit there and think, bro, you're not making men as a whole look good for any of us when you do that. Anyway, Jax comes in, Valentine walks off, and then, yeah, I honestly tell you the truth, they just talk, and it doesn't really go too much of anywhere. Last thing I want to talk about, because this part was actually the most boringest part. Jason comes home, pretty much, with Sam. Jason catches Sam up on everything that's going on, as far as Taggart, and, yeah, that's pretty much about it. And then their son comes down, and they talk, and, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it really didn't go anywhere. I mean, I think it was just probably a nice moment to see them as a family, to see him, interacting with his son. But other than that, which is weird, because I usually like Jason. I like a lot of Jason scenes because he is one of my favorite characters, him and Sonny. But just catching her up on what's been going on, it's like, I guess it's good for the new people who are starting to watch this show, but for people who've been watching this for a while, it's like, yay, history lesson that's been going on this week. That's great. And yeah, that's actually gonna do it. This review is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I kind of want to make sure I covered everything. Yeah, that's actually gonna do it. I was gonna talk about this clip about delusional Nell fans, because man, they're there and it's so weird, but I'm just not gonna get into it. I may make a separate video about that and just kind of do more of maybe a character breakdown of, I don't know, pretty much everyone. But anyway, that's actually gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. I know this came out super late, but I do appreciate anyone that's actually gonna watch it and comment it and like. Let me know what you thought your favorite moments was. And this episode. Tomorrow is gonna probably be more usual time, but Mondays is always my late days, cause yeah, Mondays is always my late days because I get out of work later. So, but I thank everyone that still watches it and comments and subscribe and just riding along with me. I appreciate it. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Have a good day or good night, depending on when you're watching this. I will catch you in the next video.